Welcome to the Grow and Expand with Ace podcast, the #1 podcast for high-performing female entrepreneurs and founders who are ready to build wildly successful businesses and claim their most fulfilling lives. Today, I'm sharing with you the #1 thing I believe is necessary for anybody who wants to build a wildly successful business and claim a deeply fulfilling life. And that is the importance of a vision. It is something that is so commonly overlooked or brushed over or just sort of glossed over, when in reality, it is the #1 anchor for where it is you're headed and how quickly you can get there or actually end up getting there or not. Okay, so I want you to think about it this way. If you are in a new town and you want McDonald's, that's the vision. And you have that vision, but you're not really clear exactly on what it looks, feels, and location-wise is, right? Like there's no intention behind it in this analogy. What you'll end up doing if you're not consistently going back to that vision and the roadmap towards it, like and in this instance, McDonald's, is you'll drive around and take wrong turn after wrong turn, and perhaps you get lucky and you drive past a McDonald's within the first 10 minutes. But perhaps you don't get lucky, and like the average punter, you literally spend so much time, so much fuel, so much energy, you're getting hungrier and hungrier, so you might even end up settling for something else that you didn't really want to start with, which was, let's say in this analogy now, McDonald's, all because you didn't necessarily have that vision and then made sure you took aligned steps in the quickest way to get to that vision. And so now let's replace McDonald's with the business, right? If you aren't clear on what that end outcome is, then every step you take, every action you take, every conversation you have, and, every momentum that you build within the business, it is going in a direction, but is it going in the direction of what it is that you're claiming you want to bring in? And unless you are intentional, incredibly intentional about this, about your vision, about what it is that you're claiming, and taking those aligned actions directly proportionately to that and nothing else, almost like laser focus, you are delaying your very own vision. You are delaying your very own business outcomes. You are delaying your very own profits coming in, and you are literally delaying the very thing that it is that you say you want. And so in reality, it looks like this. So many of us on a high level knows this is what I want, right? But then you just sort of start moving and you start doing certain things and putting things out there, and then someone might say yes, and now you're doing that. Now that leads to you doing a little bit more of that thing. And kind of nowhere in this scenario is there crystal clear intentionality and a laser focus going into this vision. And then you might get a year and a half in and go, oh, I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, I'm undercharging, this isn't what I thought it would be, I'm not doing the work that lights me up, in fact, I'm incredibly drained, how did I get here? And all of this can be avoided. The uncomfortable feelings, the shitty outcomes, the literally time wasted, and I mean, there's no such thing as wasting time because you'll learn the lesson one way or the other, right? But the level and the depth that you have to go towards learning the lesson can be so easily overcome by getting crystal clear on that vision and really intentionally from that point forward, almost auditing how in alignment you are with it and how not in alignment you are with it. And then you want to be about 70-80% in alignment with it. So I'm going to frame it up a different way. So you say you want that wildly successful business. Okay, so say what we want is a wildly successful breathwork business serving females who suffered from childhood trauma and impacting as many women as we possibly can and generating $500,000 through that business per year. Let's just say that's the vision. And I write that down. So I'm crystal clear on that. Now, if you want the wildly successful business and the deeply fulfilling life, which is, of course, what the Grow and Expand with This podcast is about, it's what I've been able to build for myself, and it is what I teach and coach and guide clients towards. At the exact same time as having the business vision, you have to get crystal clear on what do I, so let's say in this instance it's Shanae, what do I, Shanae, want to feel like within that business? I just said the business I want. What do I want to feel like within that? Well, I only want to work, say, 25 hours a week because I want to feel free. I want to feel calm and centered, let's say. I want to feel joy, and I want to feel connected, deeply connected. And so then looking at that is how I want to feel building that business, right? Great. That's the vision. You better have mapped that out, written that down, kind of gotten that and stick that up on a wall somewhere where you see it every single day. Make multiple copies if you need to, because then life happens. And Shanae goes off and, ooh, this post got a lot of likes, and ooh, people are liking this joke, so I'm going to do a little bit more of that. And ooh, I'm getting a client call. Yep. Ooh, you want to pay me $5,000 for that legal file? Because I used to be a lawyer and I used to get calls like that all the time. Oh, yeah, absolutely. $5,000 right now when I haven't yet got that vision sounds pretty bloody good. So I'll take that on. And in that, I'm come across, right? You can see how quick you can deviate. But when you've got that vision and what you want to feel like in that vision, and you anchor back into that at the end of every day, it's as simple as that. You take 5 minutes to assess, looking back, what I did, what did I do today, how much of that percentage-wise was in direct service of my business vision. This is awkward. I spent about 80% of the time on, let's say, family wasn't in your vision, on family, on running around with kids' lunch boxes, on legal files, on helping friends out with their personal problems, on spending time on social media ads that doesn't link back to anything to do with breath work. My post was really about a funny meme because I'm generating more likes and my ego really likes that. Oh, now I'm realizing, oopsie-daisy, like day one has gone by and I've did about 0% in alignment with that vision. So obviously day two, I'm going to become more intentional about it. And as the time goes on, this will keep evolving and shaping. But basically, because you're being intentional and you're being consciously intentional, the next day you're going to go, cool, like I'm going to look at that vision at the start of the day. What can I do today in service of giving that vision the best chance of success, given it's one day kind of thing? Okay, well, I'm going to map out impact. So I want to do breath work, so that's easy. But for me, it's also impact. So now I have to think, what program am I going to run, right? Well, if I combine impact and I combine that high income that I want and I combine breath work, I know I can't do one-on-one coaching sessions, yeah? Like, unless I want to charge someone $100,000 for it, which obviously isn't going to land. So now I can start getting creative. So now my mind goes. So it might go to an online breathworking program. It might look like creating a video that you can on-sell, right? Like I'm literally just thinking of these as I'm sitting here. Because when we're intentional, we actually open up the channel for that intentionality and things start dropping in. And then, of course, when you've got that, you make sure that it's in alignment with what you want from it, your goals, your vision, how you want to feel when you do it. Like you don't want to feel burnt out. You want it to feel free. So again, that online one is a tick. That video that you can on-sell, tick. And so in essence, what you do is you are becoming laser focused on calling that vision in exactly the way and the things that you prioritize alongside the feelings that you're prioritizing. And on a daily average, when you're showing up doing work, you are making sure that the time you spend, the energy you spend, the resources you spend, the money you spend, it's not scattered and shredded across 3, 4, 5 different areas that's not even moving the needle. It's laser targeted, focused on this thing that you're creating, this wildly successful business via your definition that you're creating and that you're going to bring in. Now, you tell me 1 year of having a little rough vision in your mind and then off you go reactively doing your business, or 1 year of crystal clear clarity around the vision, only the high level stuff, obviously, like I said at the start, plus how you want to feel in it. And every day, making sure that on average, majority of your time and energy is spent on things that moves the needle in that direction. You tell me, which business do you think is going to be wildly successful, the quickest, the easiest, the most aligned? Because obviously when you go through that process, that's what's aligned for you. How you want to feel in that is so aligned for you. That's why you want to feel that way in business. You'll stay on course. You'll bring it in so much quicker. What will also happen is you'll very, very quickly recognize some key blocks where your current self is limited. So a key one here might be, I want to get distracted. I struggle to stay laser focused. I'm scattered, this vision, this thing. But great, because we are intentional about bringing that in as quickly as possible and as successfully as possible. Now this block is so apparent, I'm just going to go laser focus on shifting through that, releasing that block. And then once that's done, I can keep going on this path and I can call in this thing. And it's not going to look exactly the same, but I mean, we're not making very specific promises, I suppose, on this vision, right? You didn't say, I want to live in this house on this street with this number. You're just saying, I want a beautiful 5-bedroom home overlooking the ocean. Let's say that was a vision. That was on your vision. Through you want your business to generate enough so that you can buy that house. Okay, so then every action you take, you're like, well, is this something that's getting me? Is this linking to a product that I'm offering that's linking to money, that's linking to the impact I also want to make, that's linking to this outcome where I can have the revenue to buy? If you get clarity on your vision and you get clarity on how you want to feel in it, in a business sense, and you make sure on the daily, you are intentional about spending majority of your time in alignment with executing that, you will see results quicker than you will believe. You will see and achieve those outcomes and manifest them, for lack of a better term, quicker than you can say bloody, wildly successful business. And you will call in thing upon thing upon thing because you are laser focused. All of your energy is going in that direction. So everything amplifies there. And you are just like literally walking that same road towards that same thing, building the muscles, building the strengths, learning the lessons, moving through it, making the contacts, everything in that one space. And of course, any blocks that come up directly in relation to that vision, those are the ones you work on in a business sense. Like we all have a lot of blocks, but if there's not an issue and it's not in your vision, then you don't need to necessarily work on that block unless it's important to you for another reason. And so any work I do with any client, obviously the Grow and Expand signature methodology is vision, and then it is releasing through mindset and emotional and energetic blocks, and then it's embodiment of the version of you that brings the vision in. But first and foremost, in the first session and in every single session, we anchor back into the vision because it is literally, that's the end goal, right? That's what we're doing this for. So keeping the eye on the prize is the best way to stay aligned, is the best way to take the steps that is going to move that needle and bring that in and stay that laser focus. And so that's my number one tip for anyone, is get incredibly clear on your vision and do the things I said in this podcast. I'm not going to regurgitate all of them now. And so then I also just want to add in here on the back end of this talk, with every single podcast episode and block that I talk about, and where there's a current version and a next version, right? The higher self version is obviously the version of you that already has that mindset pattern, the emotional and energetic beliefs and embodiment that then brings that vision in, and the current self has the blocks. And whenever you work through those blocks, you work through it on a mindset level. Like first, your mind has to actually see the story it's telling you. Like you have to see it, because that's incredibly important. Once you see the block and the story you're telling yourself, and then you clock how it's played out in 6 or 7 different ways just over the last month, like you'll laugh. You'll be baffled. You'll be like, I don't believe this. And I'll be like, yeah, I know. On a level you don't, but on a level you do. And now you can see it for yourself. Right here it is. And you'll know because, it's your story. You've been living this pattern. So you'll just see it time and time again where this story has come up and held you back. Now that your mind has seen it, you'll feel safe automatically to go deeper because you'll understand it. And you understand it's not serving. So the natural thing then, there's safety in that. So you'll go deeper. And then what we work on is obviously that emotional blocks. So any of those patterns has emotions attached to them that is stored in your body. And emotions, I don't care what anyone says. I've never researched this, but I don't care. Emotions are 10 times stronger than thoughts, than your mind. Emotions drive, particularly if you have emotions and you feel them at a deep level. You think of people who upthrow and uproot their entire lives because they feel love or passion about someone or something or a particular lifestyle. And like all rationale, all reason goes out the window because they've been lit up in that way and that just drives shotgun. And so the same is true about lower vibrational emotions and energies, right? And so when we bring up these stories and these blocks, ain't ever a high vibrational energy attached to it. It's a low one. Grief, fear, sadness, anger, resentment, competition, competition isn't a feeling, but something along those lines, right? And so when you bring those emotions up with the mindset pattern that's been holding you back, you can rewire the mind all you want. If those emotions are not cleared out of your body, it'll pull your mind, it'll pull your thought patterns back. It'll pull your thought patterns back every single day of the week. And before you know it, you'll be in that loop again and in that old story. And that's why through the Grow and Expand signature methodology, we work on all levels. And most importantly is removing those, identifying first and foremost those lower vibrational emotions and energies, and then removing them from the body. And this is really where I'm going with this. This is why every single session with me has a breathwork component, because the easiest, quickest way to shift emotions, to shift lower vibrational emotions, feelings, sensations, and energies out of your body to then make room for that embodiment of the higher ones, the ones that's more aligned, is through the power of the breath. It's phenomenal. It's what changed the game for me. I had done talk therapy. I had seen psychologist upon psychologist upon psychiatrist upon cognitive therapy, and it didn't do shit, quite frankly. And the moment I did this mindset type work, accompanied by the breath, where basically what we do is throughout a 45-minute to 60-minute session, this is if you work with me, breath work is out there everywhere. Through the power of your breath, connect in so deeply into your own body that you can really experience and feel those sensations and those emotions and those blocks. And through the power of your breath, you actually connect into it and you release it through the breath. It is the biggest game changer. It is so incredibly powerful. It shifts things so much quicker than any mindset pattern work ever can. And I'll just forever be the biggest advocate for it. And I will never, ever trade it out of my coaching sessions. There's been so many times where, I've been stuck at this roadblock of, shorter sessions means this and this and this. But I've every single time come back into the most important thing for me is the transformations that I can give my clients and that I give my high-performing women. And I know the number one block isn't always in the mind. It might have started there, but it's in the emotions they hold. And I also know there is no way that there's any methodology out there that is more powerful to shift stuck emotions, outdated emotions, lower vibrational emotions and energies than through the power of the breath. And so I'll just never let this piece of work go. Do yourself a massive favor and sign up to one of my next breathwork classes, or find out, if you're not in Perth, find out where there's other breathwork classes available for you. So many people do them. Sign up, go to a breathwork session, go incredibly intentionally. So this is the thing. Just like we said to be intentional about the business you want to call in and how you want to feel when you call it in, get incredibly clear about the emotion that's your number one block. half the time it's fear. And go into that session being incredibly clear about the fact that it's fear you want to breathe out and release through the power of the breath. And just watch the magic unfold, watch the transformations, make 100% sure you jump back onto this podcast episode and comment, fuck yeah, Shanae, you are 100% right. Thank you, girlfriend. And thank you for joining me on today's episode, where we talk about all the mindset, emotional, energetic practices and tools that allows us as high-performing women to build those wildly successful businesses and claim those deeply fulfilling lives. I can't wait to chat to you again. See you.